Oh wait, I gotta mute this. My mom would love to see all of this. Shave, road, downhill, jersey pockets, now day shift, gels, shoes. That's a straight 50-50. Hey there, my name is Andy, and I was born in Poland. Actually, not Canada. I was born in a town called Wrocław, and I left soon after that, probably at the age of 4, let's say, to come to Kingston, which was my very first Canadian city. And I lived here for 1 year while my father completed his studies at Queen's, and then we moved to Sudbury. So I grew up in Northern Ontario, where the roads are really bad, and you can't really ride a road bike anywhere, but people do nonetheless. And now I came back to Kingston in 1999 to go to Queen's. Well, I got into cycling, as any kid does, with your first bike as a kid. And then I remember my first sort of real memory of having a real bike was my 13th birthday. This is up in Sudbury, mind you, and this is, I guess I'll tell you, 1993. There you go. Figure that one out. So I'm getting a beautiful chromoly steel, well, obviously if it's chromoly, it's steel, mountain bike, triple in the front, you know, the usual. It's the early 90s. Mountain bikes are huge. If I got in a road bike that day, my life would be completely different. It's not like I'm a mountain biker, but I would have realized a lot earlier how much I love road cycling. So that did me for a while. I still have that bike. I've ridden it to work here, all good. I've been this size since I was born. And the thing is, real cycling, when you decide that I'm a cyclist or whatever, you know, it's whatever, there's genres of people or there are categories of people. It was 2011. A friend of mine and a coworker moved away, and he had a Peugeot road bike, as most of our first bikes are. It's a Peugeot. Anyway, he gave that to me. I started riding it with a friend. Absolutely died when I did my first like 40-kilometer ride. Fell over on the front lawn, and I've been doing it ever since. So, and I've been coming to this shop probably since about that year when I bought my first pair of clip-in shoes. Well, I would say I've had minimal crashes, but 2 of them out of the 3 were pretty bad. One was in Ottawa. I tried my hand at crit racing, and you all know how crit racing goes. You're essentially going to fall. That's part of the rule book for crit racing. So I did, broke my collarbone. It came out of the skin, went back in, actually drove back to Kingston. We're told not to go to the hospital in Ottawa because it would take too long. And then I got home, went to the emergency room. Then they sent me home because something wasn't ready either. And so I spent 48 hours at home with my broken collarbone, and then finally went in for service, and that was 3 surgeries. So I've got a nice little scar to show it, just like Andre has on his shoulder from his little adventure. And then I broke the same collarbone that was 2012, and then the second time was 2017, 3 kilometers from my house. Just hit the ground, looking behind me for traffic, and then there was some uneven pavement, and that's it. You just fall down. I have worked for Frontenac Cycles since the summer of 2019, when one of the mechanics had to go back to the West Coast, and I was given a spot because of my previous experience working for Bob Fletcher here in town, who is, of course, Barry Fletcher's brother. Okay, so essentials to take with you on a ride. For me, it's really about 2 categories. The touring list, which is probably this long, multiple pages. We can talk about that later. But what you're going to take with you on a ride, and I would say every ride, if it's commuting to work, if it's a 20-kilometer loop or a century, you're going to take these 4 things. You're going to have a set of tire levers, hopefully know how to use them. You're going to take a mini pump, obviously a spare tube, and the 4th thing is pre-glued patches. Not a patch kit, but pre-glued patches, because there's no law out there that says you can't puncture your spare tube. Make sure you have those 4 things. And I guess if you're going for a long ride, you probably want to bring some food. My favorite bike that I own currently, because it's all about N+1, so you never know which one's going to be the favorite, but currently it's one that just fits perfectly, and I think that's what a lot of people would say. The geometry is just right for me. It's a brand called Advocacy. They're not Italian, they're actually from the UK. Before I worked at the shop, I would buy frames online or on eBay. and I got a good deal on this one. It came with a little chip in the head tube in the paint, so it was a sweet deal. But it's just an aluminum frame with a carbon fork, and I love it. It's light. I've got 10-speed Campagnolo Veloce on it, and it's just the one that makes me the fastest, which is hard to do these days. Oh, okay. Yes, this I can answer. So, what did I think of Graham Healy when I first met him? I alluded to this earlier when I said I was, how I got into cycling. I met Graham here at the shop as a customer first. And for me, it was super cool. He gave me a great deal on my first pair of clip-in or clipless, whatever you want to call them, cycling shoes, which I still use as my gravel shoe. Pro tip, use your old road shoes as gravel shoes. Anyway, not that I'm a pro. But yeah, he was very cool, and that still exists. Now that I work at the shop, it's still there. I still watch him do this to pretty much every customer who comes in, much to Carla's dismay sometimes. But nonetheless, we all love it. And I have some pet peeves about the riding with Graham. Not only because he's fast and he plays hockey and he's been riding his bike exclusively without a driver's license for a majority of his life, is that he won't pull you along. He won't cooperate. He'll go up front and you'll have to catch up. Or when he is riding with you, he'll ride beside you. He'll half wheel you. You can't get a draft. You just can't do anything. Just can't do anything. So you just got to train harder to ride with Graham. That's all.
Hot or not?
Definitely sort of hot. Okay, some of my other passions when I'm not riding are mainly one, and that would be music. As a musician, I've been playing guitar and drums since I was about 12 years old. I managed to study music at Queen's when I was doing my degree there. Not a Bachelor of Music or anything like that, but I had 2 solid years of music education, which was fantastic for somebody who was self-taught. So those instruments are kind of my passions. I like writing songs. I've had a recording studio, and I still record people that want to do some albums, and really it's just people that I either play with or I really like their stuff. So playing live is obviously the end game. We want to do that. You want to play as many shows as possible and get as many people involved in your music. But recently I've tried theater, and so that's been a different kind of audience, but also super fun. Okay, yes, so I do have some involvement with bike advocacy. I was very enamored with road cycling, as I said before, and I managed to get myself volunteering, which is, traditionally for me, hard to do. But I like cycling so much that I volunteered with the KVC, the Kingston Velo Club, and I ended up hosting some rides on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It was kind of like the fast ride in the calendar, quicker rides, that sort of thing. And I ended up on the board, and as not-for-profit organizations go, you need to find volunteerism, and that was kind of the big thing. And I think that's what's going to help cycling in Kingston, is to find people who are super active. Carla, for one, is very active. We all try to push that kind of advocacy onto our customers so they can get involved. And a lot of people, if they are like me, love cycling that much, they're probably going to get involved. Thank you for watching my little cycling story. My name's been Andy, and will be after this video. Be sure to tune in to our other bio videos of Graham, Carla, and Andre, and hopefully Willem, if he's agreed to do that. So, see you again soon. Frontenac Cycle. Alright, if you enjoyed that video, make sure to hammer that like button and subscribe, because we've got more coming to you. Thank you very much.
We're going to use that in all the videos from now on.